it. And Gerrard.
With sport, there are two sides to it, the thrilling and emotional part, and the ugly side, which happens in every sport and we hate to see it, and that is injury. Injuries have always been a part of sport and will be forever. In the last decade, scientists have really started to notice the long-term effects that some sports can have on the human body. And in this documentary, I'll be exploring this further and asking professionals their experience with the current changes to make the games we love safer. I've interviewed the Director of Sport at Reading Bluecoat School, G. Wilson, to get his thoughts on the current dangers of rugby and his opinion on the current rules. As a sports teacher, do you worry a lot about the potential risks that students have when playing rugby?
Yeah, obviously pupil welfare is something that's very important. And rugby being a collision or a contact sport, there is always that risk of injury. But if we're talking about concussion specifically or head injury specifically, I have no greater concern over a concussion than I do over a broken bone or a dislocation or any other specific injury.
Risk is a part of every sport, but rugby has one growing concern, and George North has become the public face for concussion. 4 years ago, in a game against England, he was knocked out again. Doctors advised him to take a 5-month break from rugby. Do you think that the RFU should change the rules to make the game safer?
No, I think it's got a good flow to the sport. I think if they did change the rules, then it would just slow the game down a lot.
When you had your concussions, you used to wear a scrum cap. Do you feel as though it gave you a false sense of security?
I felt like I was invincible. I felt like I could hit anything, and then the technique of my tackling just went completely out the door.
In recent years, there has been multiple news articles about sporting injuries within school children specifically. The increasing concussion has caused doctors to dive further into the possible effects. As a sporting director of a secondary school, have you seen a massive change in the way parents react to their children playing rugby?
Not particularly. We haven't seen a huge change with regards to parents have always been a little bit apprehensive about their sons or daughters playing a contact sport. But it might be because of the pupils we have into school. We are a traditional rugby playing school, so they wouldn't necessarily be coming into the school thinking that they weren't going to be playing rugby. They know they're going to be playing rugby as they come to the school anyway. So no, we haven't really seen a big change.
Whenever you're going into a big tackle or running into the fence trying to break through, are you ever worried about getting concussed?
Before a game, there's an element of injury, you could get injured, especially because rugby's getting a lot physical, and players are getting bigger and stronger, faster. So I personally wouldn't think about concussions when I'm bursting through, but then if there's a big guy running at me, I'm thinking, geez. Yeah.
And finally, do you feel that the benefits of the game outweigh the risk of serious damage to a person's body?
Yeah, unquestionably, the characteristics and the traits that that an individual will gain from playing rugby far outweigh the injuries. And in fact, I'm a big believer in that. The whole reason you get those characteristics and those traits is because of the risk that comes with of injury. You knowing that your teammate is willing to take collisions, bumps and bruises for you, and you're willing to do that for your teammate. That's the whole idea of rugby, and that's why you get such special friendships, and it's such a special environment and sport that we love.
We've set up an interview with ex-professional footballer Peter Scott, current head coach at the Buckinghamshire College, and Tom Hogan, an FA qualified coach and current coach at the Buckinghamshire College, to get their opinions on the current controversy about how repeated heading of the ball could have possibilities to cause dementia. So, Pete, over the past few years there has been multiple news articles about how heading the ball may have links with dementia. What is your opinion on this?
I think it's a really difficult one. Until there's actually clinical evidence that that's exactly what happens and that's the reasons for it. So I think it's very difficult for someone like myself. I just think that dementia comes on different forms, people who've never played sport before. So is it something that that person would have got anyway, whether they played football or not? And they're the questions that I think we need to be answering and looking at in terms of whether dementia is brought on by people heading footballs over a course of X amount of years.
And in the National League in America, they've banned heading for under 11s. Do you think this should happen in England?
Oh, I personally think you should get kids used to heading the ball. I don't really see it as a big issue. The ball is designed for heading at that age. I don't see any reason why they should stop it. I think we get used to heading the ball. As long as we don't overpump the ball and make it difficult for them, I don't see any problem with it really.
Yeah. Pete, as a young player, were you ever warned about heading the ball too much, or was it always head the ball as much?
Well, I mean, obviously, very different times when I started playing football as a young person. I'm going back quite a few years now, so at that time it was never ever an issue with us as young players. In fact, like Tom said there, we were encouraged to head the ball from a really young age. So in terms of that, how things have progressed, and I know that's important, and people are thinking about health and safety and looking after people's well-being. So I understand that and I get that, but you know, until it's actually, for me, it's an actual fact that this is an effect, then I don't think we should stop young people heading the ball, because as long as whatever age you are, you're playing with the right size ball, I don't think it's going to make a massive difference in terms of those factors.
Yeah. And on the other hand, football as a game and how it is played has changed massively, and the ball is not used as much as it once was from heading. So do you feel the heading ban would be needed?
No, I don't. The game's changed. We don't head the ball as often as we did. Definitely the equipment's better now for heading the ball. The balls are lighter than in our days as such. But the game, the way we play the game now, we don't cross the ball probably quite as, well, we cross the ball the same, but not at the same height. We're more going towards people's feet now and around knees and things like that. So if you have a look at the game now, there are a lot less headers than ever there were.
Yeah, in terms of that as well, I know that professional clubs now, it's really stringent tests in terms of head injuries, and I know for a fact that if anyone has a head injury, especially at younger age levels, or a clash of head or something in that way has happened, now they have to have a scat test, and they're not allowed to play again until they pass that scat test. So it's quite stringent now in terms of young people and when they can and can't play after a head injury.
We are at the Hawthorn Stadium, home to West Brom. Next to me is a special tribute to Jeff Astley, an ex-English professional footballer who played the majority of his career as a centre-forward for West Brom. Nicknamed the King, he played 361 games and scored 174 goals, also winning 5 caps for England. During his time at West Bromwich Albion, his heading ability proved decisive, as he scored 174 goals in 359 games. In the 68 season, he scored in every round of the FA Cup, including the only goal of the final. He won 5 caps for England and was part of the 1970 World Cup squad, retiring in '77.